I think Moses wins and wins well. I think he's a class act there.
Moses is at a stage now where where I feel that every fight he's had, we're increasing the quality of the opposition, and he's ready for the next big step up, and it has to be against a recognisable name.
Best days are probably behind him, and I think he's a special talent, Moses. So I think Moses wins.
Really good undercards. This fight, Ben, right fight for him at the right time, Moses.
I think it's a good name in terms of it being at the right time. I don't think the timing is too much of a factor. I don't think Moses needs to catch anybody at a certain point in their career or anything like that.
Why is that?
Because I think he's good enough. I think he's plenty good enough. I think he's a generational talent.
Or he might knock him out. I don't know. But personally, at 20, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing. And I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of test. Yeah.
When is he ready? I think he could beat most heavyweights in the world, with the exception possibly of Usyk and maybe Dubois, possibly AJ. The top 3 or 4, he's not ready for. The problem with Moses is that his feet and his distance and his range is so good, and he's so quick that if you commit to the punches, you're going to get countered. And if you don't, you're going to get backed up and taken out. So it's a real puzzle. There's not many heavyweights that are southpaws. Obviously, Alexander Usyk is, but he's moved up into that domain.
I was 24 years old, who's got his always faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom. And then, mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma.
The heavyweight division is about to feel a shake. When Daniel Dubois accepted the fight against Moses Itauma, fans instantly knew this wasn't just another matchup, it was a crossroads. On one side, a young prodigy with speed, skill, and precision beyond his years. On the other, a powerhouse, still searching for redemption. At just 20, Moses Itauma has become one of the most talked about names in British boxing. Every fight he's taken has been a step up. Every opponent a test that looks smaller once the bell rings. Experts call him a generational talent, fast, composed, and intelligent in the ring. He fights like someone who's already studied the entire playbook. His timing and control make experienced heavyweights second-guess themselves. Eddie Hearn, never shy to analyze young talent, says Moses doesn't need to catch anyone at the right moment because he's simply that good. Frank Warren's team has managed his rise carefully, giving him challenges that sharpen his instincts without rushing him too early. At this point, you can sense that every move is strategic, every round part of a larger plan to reach world level before most fighters his age even peak. But the challenge in front of him is real. Daniel Dubois is dangerous, experienced, and desperate to reclaim the spotlight. At 26, he's already shared the ring with names like Usyk and Joyce. Yet what makes this fight fascinating is how differently they approach the sport. Dubois depends on raw power, a thunderous right hand that can end nights in seconds. Moses relies on craft. He doesn't chase knockouts. He sets traps, draws mistakes, and punishes openings with cold precision. Analysts like Adam Smith and Johnny Nelson have praised the young southpaw's balance and ring IQ. His ability to read distance, control space, and counter makes him a nightmare for aggressive punchers. They say his movement and range are so sharp that committing to an attack against him feels like walking into a trap. And that's exactly what Dubois has to avoid lunging in and leaving himself open to the kind of timed left hand that could change the fight. Derek Chisora, who knows what it means to survive wars in the division, kept it blunt.
What he did to Daniel, it took away everything, all his attributes. He took away his jab, took away his power, took away his movement, took away his confidence, to the point where Daniel was putting his backside on the floor thinking, wow, we're only in round 5 here and I'm getting chopped up. And this guy,
However, the intrigue that surrounds this fight, I've got young kids in my gym that are going to be tuning into this.
3 generations are going to watch it, aren't they? That's what's great.
I mean, they're so excited about it.
We're just looking at fights to kind of get me into that later round, because I feel like with Usyk, I feel like I've got a better skill set than him, but I feel like towards the later rounds, he'll just outdo me, because I've never...
When you get to elite level, you can't get away with it. I don't think Daniel has the capability strength in regards to talking to his dad or standing up to his dad or standing up to that setup. I don't think he has the strength to do that, and which is why it will always hold him back. You got to look. This is personal business, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. Caroline, she, as far as I know, she doesn't work with her dad. There must be a reason.
Moses Itauma, who looks absolutely extraordinary, and for me, he ticks all the boxes. I like his attitude. I like his style. Southpaw, hard hitting, moves so well. He's going to be very, very difficult to sort of deter. So it's an interesting one because, yeah, is this too soon for Moses, or is this just the right fight at the right time?
You've got more chance of winning the lottery than beating Moses. He's not alone in that view. From Johnny Nelson to Tony Bellew, the consensus is building Itauma might already be too good for his age. His composure, southpaw stance, and fast counters make him unpredictable. His training is sharp, guided by one of Britain's best coaching teams, and every session reflects maturity beyond his years. Still, Dubois brings a kind of hunger that can't be ignored. This is his chance to prove he's not done, that he still belongs among the contenders. As some analysts point out, Dubois' problem has never been talent. It's been handling pressure. Once the lights get hot and his opponent refuses to fold, cracks tend to appear. Against a fighter as composed and technically sharp as Moses, that could be fatal. Experts like Duke McKenzie believe this matchup has drawn fans across generations. Older purists see it as a classic test of skill versus power, while younger audiences view Moses as the next wave, a fighter who represents the evolution of heavyweight boxing. Even critics admit that the buildup feels different. The energy around this fight has the pulse of something bigger, a statement moment for the sport's future.
I think Moses is one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years. And I'm not just saying that based on a result over Dillian. I hope you understand that when I look at a fighter, I'm looking at things that others don't see. I'm not looking at the hype. I'm looking at what he does in the ring, how he does it, his skill set. I'm looking at that because that's the important stuff. And right now, to me, he's shown probably a better skill.
But he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent. I think he's got a good team around him, Ben Davison and Lee Wiley. Wiley is the brains that study everything, and they use what we call video analysis now in boxing. They're the one team.
Or he might knock him out. I don't know. But personally, at 20, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing, and I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of
everything, because he knows it's last chance saloon for him. He needs the victory here. So, look, we find out just how good Moses Itauma is, I think, on the 16th of August when he boxes Dillian Whyte, because I think he wins it and wins it in style. But everyone they put in front of him so far, he's just dismantled. I think this kid's going to go on and win.
Moses is a problem for everybody. AJ, Usyk, Fury. It doesn't matter who they are, but it's like, I don't really like the,
Frank Warren calls it the perfect fight at the perfect time. Russ Amber says Moses checks every box: attitude, movement, intelligence. And when someone like Tony Bellew labels you the future of the heavyweight division, it's more than hype, it's recognition. For Moses, the stakes are enormous. Beat Dubois, and he'll be seen not just as a prospect, but as a legitimate contender. A fighter ready to challenge the elite. For Dubois, it's survival. Lose again, and the road back becomes a mountain. As the fight approaches, fans can feel the tension. 2 generations, 2 styles, 1 defining night. Will Dubois' experience and power be enough to halt the rise of a prodigy? Or will Moses Itauma prove that the future has already arrived? Whatever happens, one thing is certain: the heavyweight division is watching closely.